Let me hear that beep. Okay, it's recording. Okay.
We are recording, but I'm just so
I just want to say,
excited.
just in case we take clips from this later, here I am, Alana Oldham, joining you from my spaceship, where I have been cooking up the new book, When the Lights Knock. And I have my friend here and my, let's say, fellow Star Trek 2 Buddhist monk. And she has written and published many books, and I want her to introduce herself and tell you a little bit about her and what she's done, and then she's going to give me tips on how to self-publish. Okay.
So I'm Turiya Dhara, and as Elena said, I have published a handful of books. There's more coming. Luminosity should come out in August, so I'm excited. I'm waiting for the cover for that one. I just had Worlds of Power, Worlds of Light translated into Spanish. So that's just came out a few weeks ago.
Awesome.
And you know, the Worlds of Power, Worlds of Light book was written because I didn't want to forget all the things that our teacher showed.
Yeah.
So I just, as you know, I always knew the minute I started studying with them, like, okay, I'm going to write a book.
From your journal? Did you journal and take them from your journal, or was it just still in your memory, burned in? Like, I didn't never journal, but it was burned in my memory.
A lot of it was burned in my memory. I took notes, but they turned out to be very cryptic notes. So I had to like decode what I said. But I was writing that book while it was happening. And I actually worked on that book with Rama.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because, you know, when he ordained us, he said, we need a project in the physical to work on. And he said this one line that it doesn't matter what the project is, it just needs to be something physical. And then he launched into 2 hours about computer science. But I remember that one line. So I finally went up to him and I'm like, hey, I want to be a writer. I want to work with you as a writer. And he said, okay, bring me some stuff. And I brought him some samples and he said, okay. And then I went through this whole existential crisis of like, well, what am I supposed to write? Because remember, I don't know if you remember, but at one point he had his lawyers draw up this giant contract and said, and one of the lines was that you're not allowed to publish anything that from the seminars.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, I can't write about this until I leave. And then that way, you know, I'm going to do it. So I started. But then he's like, we're sitting there and I'm like, Rama, I know I need to write something, but I just can't figure out what it is. And he looked at me like I was a complete idiot. Like, you really don't know. And I'm like, no, I really don't know. And he's like, the study, write about the study. And I just looked at him.
You didn't think it was allowed. Yeah, okay.
Like, I can do that? And he's like, yeah. But he made it very clear. He's like, it's not about you. The book is not about you. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then the very next seminar we had, he told everybody, you know, so I felt all special for a couple weeks. And then, yeah, the seminar, he says, anybody that's interested in writing about the study, stay after the seminar. Like,
there was an ego lesson, wasn't it?
And then it was like my specialness went, like, thank you, Rama, for crushing my ego.
Which was his job.
Yeah, which needed to be done.
Yes.
And then that really lit the fire under me to like be like, okay, I've got to get this down. So I just started writing it. And but then I just kept writing all these years and, you know, keep teaching. And
yeah, tell us a little bit about the teaching you're doing in California.
So I founded Trikaya Buddhism. I decided, you know, I looked at all of the different Buddhist schools available. You know, I moved out here in 1996 and I worked for a company in New York. So I was flying back and Rama would happen to have a seminar when I was in town. So it worked out.
Yeah.
I still, you know, wanted a local group. So I started visiting and I'm like, yeah, this isn't, no, that's not it. No. And just couldn't find anything. And I kept hearing, you know, in my subconscious psychic realm that Rama would be like, you need to start teaching. You should start teaching.
Mhm.
And so I gave a class to my friends, and I had one gal, she had this amazing experience sitting in meditation. She's like, oh, I saw flowers falling from the sky. And I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
And then when I asked if she wanted to do it again, she goes, oh, that was too boring. It's not for me.
Wow.
Like, but you saw flowers falling from the sky and you were
She
so
felt it that
freaking
she
happy.
saw. She probably second guessed herself.
Well, she eventually got there. She just went a whole different
Okay.
route and found her spirituality. And
Right.
you know, she's a became a Catholic, and she teaches yoga at a Catholic
Oh,
university. So it's
thanks.
like everybody's got their own path.
That's
And
right. Remember what Rama said, there's 10,000 roads that lead to the top of the mountain, and we all have our own path, right?
yes, exactly. So when Rama passed, that was kind of the kick in the butt. Like, okay, he's not, because that was my answer, is like, well, if there's really students, he'll come out and teach here. And then all of a sudden he was gone. And it's like, oh, okay, I guess he's not coming out. I'm gonna have to do it. And so
Yeah.
I
And
wound up
so
meeting
you have a
some,
Dharma center, right?
yep,
You have
at Dharma Center.
a
Um,
in San Diego area?
Yep, San Diego. It's in Ocean Beach. So we're still in the same location. So for almost 30 years, we've been meditating in the same room. So there's some nice
Wow.
energy there. And then we've had, I've had a lot of help from Rama students. A woman actually helped me at the beginning because my body was like just not functional at all. So I'm trying to like do this Dharma project, and I could barely get out of bed. So thank goodness that she was there. So she really helped me, get it going. And then it became, when the internet really came online and people started coming in, actually knowing about meditation. First, they would ask, what kind of meditation? So then we'd say Buddhist meditation. That worked for a while. And then it was, well, what kind of Buddhism? And then it was like, okay, we got to figure out like, what are we actually teaching? Because if you try to describe what we went
Just
through,
Buddhism, there was the whole mystery school. There, he taught us about inner dimensions. He taught us about the way the universe works, you know, and
yeah,
it's
and
that knowledge that isn't just from Earth. And I found that when I tried to go to other Buddhist teachers, everything was very, very human, Earth based. And that's
yeah,
what we're
and
looking for, huh? That magic that's beyond the physical.
well, well, exactly. Or well, that's what I found out is that is there in some Buddhist schools, but you have to like be in them for a really long time before um I forget, I think it was I forget which Tibetan teacher it was, but he actually put in one of his books like Westerners are like children, so we can't give them any of the real teachings because
The
they just
mystic,
couldn't handle it.
not the mystic stuff, right?
Yeah, none of the mystic stuff because they couldn't handle it. And they have a whole lot of cultural baggage, that allows them to kind of screen through. That's their screen, right? So they're only going to open up those worlds for people that can pass all their tests. But
Right.
Rama was so kind that he was like, you want to know? Like, come
He
on in.
leveled us from day one.
And and so that's kind of been my philosophy, is like you come into a
He
class.
leveled with us from day one, but he was also very selective about the student acceptance process. He didn't want to give someone something they couldn't handle. So what I believe, this is, I would like to get your take on it. My belief is that those of us who have, been studying with him for a long time, many incarnations, have been a tribe, reincarnated here at the same time to study together, but that we actually, okay, have you heard of, this is where I bring in the connection with extraterrestrial and human. I've just recently learned this term. different vocabulary but it all maps beautifully to what Rama taught us. And I'm learning this vocabulary from people like Natalie Hill from the United Experiencers Initiative. She's going to write the foreword in my book. And she's had a lot of, she's been taken a few times.
Wow.
And so what she's taught me just from watching her interviews with her, I was watching Haystack News. I shared it on my Facebook page. I was watching Haystack News just because it cycles through the app on the smart TV. It cycles through all the news channels, international, local, so you get a good mix instead of just one thing. And it came on, she came on there and they were talking about Disclosure Day, the movie that just came out, Steven Spielberg movie. You must see it. If you haven't,
it's on my list. I haven't yet.
Oh my gosh, this would have been a movie assignment from Rama, okay? Absolutely would have been. You know, it would have been. Remember when Bringers of the Dawn was a book assignment? By Barbara Marciniak, Bringers of the Dawn was one of our book assignments, and it talks about the Palladians and bringing about, and it was one of my most favorite book assignments from Rama because because as a kid, I always had a passion for like extraterrestrials and like everything space oriented, you know, like many of us did, you know, like what's out there. And this book, I really recommend you read it, Bringers of the Dawn by Barbara Marciniak. It was one of Rama's book recommendations, and that also drew a connection for me with the Palladians, which are more enlightened beings, entities that are not on Earth, and that I think that our tribe is related to them. And so the word that I've learned recently from Natalie is that, well, I already believe, because I've watched Ancient Aliens and all of that, that I have no trouble believing that all human beings, or most of us, have some alien DNA, because I also believe, and this is just my theory, that that's the missing link in evolution. So but I might be wrong there. But anyway, if you go to United Experiencers Initiative, it's theuei.org, they talk about type 1 hybrids and type 2 hybrids and type 3 hybrids. Okay, you know how Rama says they can't handle the energy? Well, type 2 hybrids have, what I've learned is after 4 generations of more alien DNA being put in, their subtle physical body, or their physical body is more equipped to handle stuff that a type 1 might not be able to handle, you know, like, so I think Rama was looking at, are they type 2, a different vocabulary, but he was looking at that and he was saying, yep, they can handle it. No, they can't. And that's kind of, I haven't written anything about this type 1, type 2, because that's new information for me that I've just recently learned from Natalie. But I think that's my theory, that those of us, we do have a little bit more alien DNA in us.
Well, we definitely, or I know, at least I know I have been on this rock a really long time.
I've been back on this rock, but in between, before we get born again, I think there's some science up there happening to make us more equipped. Reincarnations, it's just a theory, but it might make a good second book.
Yeah, that does sound good. Just know, like, when I see somebody come into Dharma Center, there's like, I mean, I can't really describe it, but there's, you know, that scene.
The seal that he placed on our third eye, so that
there's like this little mark. Yeah, it's like a mark on him. It's like, oh, you're one of us.
What does the seal look like? Can you describe how it looks?
It's
or
more of
an
a
energetic? Okay.
Yeah, it's more of a feeling of just like, oh yeah, like a recognition. Like, oh yeah,
and that was the whole
you're
point of the seal. He said that's the whole point, is so that in future lives, teachers will accept you as a student. You know you're on the path.
Yeah, exactly. So with Dharma Center, you know, with trying to define Buddhism and everything, I realized nothing fits. We are a Vajrayana school, but we're not a Tibetan school. So after a lot of experimentation, you know, working with different students, we settled on the name Trikaya Buddhism.
Okay. Trikaya.
for the Trikaya, because it's the three bodies of the Buddha, you know, the Dharmakaya, the Sambhogakaya, and the Nirmanakaya. So
Oh,
you have the
cool.
clear light of reality, you have the energetic bliss body, and then you have the physical manifestation of Buddha nature.
Yeah.
And that's what Rama taught me. And
Trikaya. I like that. That's that perfect name. Yeah.
yeah, so officially, you know, I was it 2023, end of 2023, 2024, February 9th, 2024, we made our official announcement that we are a nonprofit Dharma Center of Trikaya Buddhism.
I love it. I'm
And
definitely going to come to California as soon as I can and come to the Dharma Center.
I
Yeah.
would love that. And then we do have online classes too, so you're welcome to join
Y'all
us
do it over Zoom as well?
over Zoom.
Uh-huh.
And then tomorrow for the solstice, I started this new, I've got a, you know, one of those Dharma downloads of like, okay, this is the next thing. You know how there's so much turmoil in the world. There's so much, you know, insanity and just
It's dense right now,
horrible.
isn't it? Everything is very dense.
Everything is so thick. And
Yeah.
so kind of, I guess the assignment from the company, if you will, that was given to me is for this 108 lights project or
Okay.
movement,
Okay.
where I'm hoping, you know, to gather at least 108 people who
Okay.
will dedicate part of their meditation to simply illuminating the world.
I love that. And you can count
And
me in.
it's a little tricky
I'll be one
because
of those.
when we do it and you go into, you know, silent mind, you meditate, and then you just release that light into the world, everything lights up. And what happens is you start to see things, you start to see the really crappy stuff. And of course, our compassionate heart immediately wants to put compassion on that. It wants to adjust that. It wants to fix
Discernment is
that.
important. We're not here
And
to fix everything. That's a lesson that I learned. That was, I think that's what that bad experience that I went through last year. I'm not going to elaborate. I think you know what I mean. But I think that's what that was to teach me.
yeah, so with this 108 lights, it's simply about illuminating. It's about
Yeah.
being the light bulb
Yeah.
and not the trying to fix anything. So it's like we're
Right.
just here to shine.
We're just
And
going to
either,
meditate together at the same time and bring light and love into the world, right?
yeah, just lighting it up
Mm-hmm.
without any impression on how we think it should be. And that's where it really helped develop our own practice of detachment, because as we do that practice, of course, like I said, you start to shine out the light, and then those images come back, that feeling comes back, and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna, you know, it's not like Tonglen where you're like taking it in, transforming it, and sending it back out. It's just holding that light so people can actually see what's happening. I think the biggest problem we have right now is people are just so drunk with demonic delusions. They are, you know, to borrow that line from a song, they are just getting fed these stories after stories, and they literally cannot see.
It's so much fear out there. It's all fear-based mind control.
Yeah, but once you turn the light on,
Hopefully
then you see that, oh, that's just that's my own shadow. Oh, how interesting. I don't, you know, it looked 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
It looked 9 feet tall and it was gonna attack me with that big knife. But oh, that's just my elbow.
Yes. I hear you. I got you.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I would love to be involved. And you know what I might do is I think this introduction is important for me to share. So I'll edit the video after this, or I'll stop recording and just let it transcribe the part with the knowledge transfer on self-publishing, because that's going to be boring for everyone. But what you're saying, how do people get in touch with you if they want to participate?
So it's dharmacenter.com. And we do it every solstice and every equinox. So it's on
So
the
you're doing it
website.
tomorrow?
So tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific time. And
4
there's a
o'clock
link
my
on our
time.
website. You can register. And if you happen to be in San Diego, please come by. But every, my plan is to do it every solstice, every equinox. We just started at the last solstice, so we'll see if we can keep
What I
building.
think would be awesome to do.
And then if
maybe
people want to get,
solstice, how would you feel about me coming out there and us all going to the Anza Desert in the winter solstice? I'd love to go back out there.
It'd be fun. We have to plan it.
For
We
the
got to
winter
look at some dates.
solstice, I would love to come and go and do that with y'all.
All right, we can work on getting a trip together.
Remember so many memories from that solstice. And do you remember the interdimensional beings, the warriors on the mountain
The
ridge
guardians, yeah.
who came to show up to the meditation? They were there and they showed themselves to us.
They're
The
still
warriors.
out there. I take my students out there. It's only a couple hours from me.
Y'all did go out there. Oh, that's awesome.
We go out there and we have to respect that.
Because I had magical memories there, and I've only been, I've never been back, and I'd love to go
You've
back.
never been back? Oh my
I've
goodness.
only been to San Diego once in my life, and it was the time that we went with Rama to go to the Anza Desert. That's the only time I've been.
You've got to come out.
I have magical memories of that area of America. Yeah.
I would love that. I would be happy to take you out
Do it on the winter
desert.
solstice, okay? Let's make a plan and work towards that.
All right, definitely.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, so I think, do you have anything else you want to say? Because I can stop the recording and we can just talk about the other stuff, the business side of stuff. But before, I want you to say one last thing and then I'll stop recording.
Okay.
Okay.
So with the 108 Lights movement, we have the public. That's every solstice, every equinox. And then if people I have a kind of a private program called Enlightenment This Lifetime, ETL.
Oh, I love it. Yeah,
so
track.
It's part of the 108 Lights, but it's people, there's requirements. You have to become a Dharma Center member. You need to go to some Dharma Center classes to figure out what this Trikaya Buddhism stuff is. And then you can ask about that ETL program. And what it is we meet in between the solstices and equinoxes for meditation, and we discuss what it is that we're exploring right now. So like on the solstice, I'll recommend a book that we're gonna, that I'm personally gonna read, and you can read whatever you're exploring at the time, but that's the one I'm reading. And then we have these in-between meetings, and then we also have a Discord channel.
Oh, cool.
That's just for ETL, so you can post on there, and we can help each other go deeper and deeper into enlightenment. Because
I love that.
Like you said, it's so dark out there, it's so heavy, and it's easy to get lost. And we have our our public classes multiple times a week, but this is a way to like really go a bit deeper, for those
That's
that are
very interesting to me. That I would love to get involved in that if I could from a distance, remotely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So again, dharmacenter.com. Just that's the doorway you can find me.
Dharma, DHARMA center.com. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to stop recording now. Thank you so much. And it's so good to see you. And I can't wait to see you again in person after all of these years.
Go to the desert.
Yeah, let's go to the desert and for the winter solstice. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, stop recording.